What's up, everybody? It's Dominic369 for Occultism Unleashed. And as promised, we jumping into the new moon and Pisces video. I told you guys it was coming today. I was going to pre-record it, but you know, the last few times I had sound issues and I'm not trying to go through none of that. So we're dropping this live. And for those of you guys who catch it live, I might have time to do a couple questions. And for those who don't, you can catch it tomorrow. So we're gonna jump right into this. The new moon, as I said before, the new moon is a time when beginnings and starting new things is appropriate. But you don't want to start things exactly on the new moon because, as you know, the new moon is a moon where it's dark and we don't have the light to observe everything that's going on. Make sure you share the video with your friends and get people in the room. We don't have the light to observe everything that's going on during the new moon, so it's best that you don't start new endeavors on the new moon. But the new moon is a time where things begin to trickle up from the subconscious mind into the conscious mind and allow you to act on them. This new moon in Pisces, Pisces new moon is a moon that's gonna arouse your intuition. The moon is, it's gonna be at 20 degrees Pisces in 17 minutes. So whatever house 20 degrees and 17 minutes is in your chart, this is where you want to look. This is where you want to look. The house where, 20 degrees, 17 minutes is at Pisces in your chart. This is where the new moon is going to occur. Pisces is a very sensitive sign. It's a water sign. Because it's at 20 degrees Pisces, it's going to be in the second decadent, which means it's going to be a Pisces new moon with Cancer characteristics. Cancer characteristics brings things to the light dealing with the home, karma that you picked up from your family, because that's a fourth house matter that's governed by Cancer. Things that have to do with your diet, things that have to do with, your intuition as well. Pisces and Cancer are very intuitive signs. And the Cancer being in the decadent of Cancer, this new moon in Pisces is going to be a very emotional time. Very emotional time where a lot of people might find themselves shedding tears on a personal level and on, a mundane level because of things going on in their community or in their nations. Pisces is a sign of self-sacrifice. It's a sign of martyrdom, but it's also a sign of spirituality, escape through substance abuse. So there are some of you who may be thinking that the solution to your problem is turning to alcohol and drugs to escape the negative emotions and adverse emotions that are being summoned up by this new moon, because the new moon starts to stir things up that's in the subconscious mind. When you look at the tarot, this is the moon card of the tarot. It's attributed to the sign of Pisces, and as you can see, it's a concealed sun. This is the beetle Kephra, concealed in the sun, and the sun is under the water. So it's under the surface of the consciousness where things dealing with Pisces are going on. And you want to be careful not to allow yourself to get caught up in substance abuse and escapism. I see you, Xander. I see you. It's important that you don't get caught up in substance abuse and escapism when it comes to emotional things, especially things dealing with your family, addictive overeating, compulsive eating, and things like that. This is a time for awakening your intuition. Very much a time for trusting your intuition, especially in matters that concern the house where Cancer is found on the cusp, because it's in the moon rules Cancer. It's the natural ruler of Cancer. And this is where you know, it's going to be affected, because that's the sign that the moon rules in the house where 20 degrees 17 minutes Pisces is at in your chart. So if you're having the new moon in your first house, the first house rules you personally. It rules your physical body. And if you got Pisces rising or Pisces partially in your first house, you are a person who is naturally intuitive, natural empath. With the new moon occurring in the second decadent of Cancer of Pisces, which gives it Cancer elements, you are going to be more emotional and more, you know, empathetic to other people's negative energy. So you have to make sure you got your protection up. How you doing, Bajorn? How you doing, Doris? You're gonna have to make sure you got your protection up if this new moon in Pisces is occurring in your first house. Now, this is also a time where you may feel very musically inclined. Pisces is a sign that governs music. It governs poetry. It governs psychic ability. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Neptune rules stringed instruments. String instruments aren't just guitars, cello, violins, and things like that. The piano is also a string instrument. You press the key pulls down on a string, and the string strikes a note. You know, so you wanna make sure that you're listening to music, expressing yourself musically. Pisces is a sign that also rules film. And we'll get into some other things after I go through the houses with you guys. I told you guys before, man, I can't really talk about things going on in the nation how I used to talk about it, man. Like, people are really hacking my computers and all type of crazy stuff, man. And I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that right now. But this is your physical body. Any issues that you're having with your feet, because the sign of Pisces governs your feet. You want to look into those issues and make sure you're doing things that make sure you're not building on shaky ground. Because the feet allude to our foundation, which keeps us upright, allows us to stand in life. So in your first house, you want to make sure that you're making sound decisions and ensuring that you're treading on the right path. Wait a couple days before you start new endeavors. Physical routines like running and things like that involving your feet. You want to wait a couple days before you jump into any new physical activity involving your feet. Again, for those of you guys who just joining, if you're having urges to escape through substance abuse, if the new moon's in your first house, substitute the drugs and alcohol with music at this time. Again, Pisces is a sign that rules drugs and alcohol. And unfortunately, there's going to be an uptick in overdoses. People getting laced. People getting their drinks spiked. So if Pisces is in your first house and this new moon, you want to avoid the drugs and alcohol, because it might not turn out how you like. Pisces is also a sign that governs hospitals, mental institutions, and those substances can lead you to those places, including jail. Second house Pisces. Second house is the house of money, values, self-worth, our movable goods and resources. When you're dealing with Pisces, new moon in the second house, write down your ideas about money and business generating revenue before you jump into anything. You want to wait for a few days when the moon starts to collect light before you start acting on these ideas and information that you're getting intuitively about money. This is a good time. This is a good time to really make your dreams come reality. But you have to write things down in order for you to be successful in your goals. And the new moon is an excellent time for spells, for new beginnings. And even if you don't have spells or have the confidence to successfully execute spells, because you have the power, you just don't have the confidence in your power. This is a good time to write down a wish list. If you wish to, stop using drugs, you wish to be successful, all things governed by Pisces on that new moon is the time that you create that wish list. New moon is a time to create wish lists. If you got the Pisces new moon in your second house, that's 20 degrees, 17 minutes Pisces in your second house, you should be writing about financial dreams, money dreams, self-worth dreams, wishes in regards to how you see and idealize yourself, how you want yourself to be in this world. The new moon will carry that energy out throughout the moon cycle, and you'll start to see things coming into fruition as the moon starts to, move to a full stage. This month, it's going to be a full moon in Libra, and it's going to be eclipse. But we'll talk about that later on in the month. Got 2 eclipses coming up. One at the end of this month, one in the beginning of April. But the second house Pisces, this is a time for your money, and if you can imagine it, you can manifest it. This doesn't mean you can just say, I wish for this to happen and it's going to happen. It means if you can imagine it, you bring it from your mental plane, the spiritual plane of the mind, because the mind is spiritual, because it can be on 2 things at one time. You want to bring it out of the mental plane into the physical plane by writing it down. And once you have it written down, the demons, the self-doubt in your mind, the self-deception, the procrastination, isn't going to be successful at attacking that idea or making you forget that idea or giving you reasons why you can't do it. So this is a great time for manifesting the money that you want and you desire. Third house Pisces, third house has to do with your neighborhood, your local community. It has to do with writing. It has to do with books and learning. It has to do with communication. Your siblings. You may have strong intuition about things going on with your brothers and sisters at this time. Also your aunts and uncles conveying messages to you about, dreams and stuff they had or thoughts and feelings they had about you. Take some of them with a grain of salt, but also you want to pay attention. Pay attention to the intuition you're getting. If you know, your brother ain't on the right thing and he wants to hang out this week, tell him no. Trust your intuition. But again, this is a sign, a house that governs writing. So if you have any talents in poetry and things like that, absolutely, Bjorn, I would definitely save it. If you have talents in writing, poetry, music, this is a time for you to write. And let that energy flow. Let your intuition inspire you to create some beautiful, out of this world content. Use your intuition while driving. People will be in La La Land while they're driving this weekend. If you absolutely don't have to go out during busy traffic times, stay out of traffic. It'll do you good. The fourth house, this has to do with your home life, your family, karma that you picked up from your birth family or the family that raised you early in childhood. It also has to do with your diet, because fourth house rules the kitchen. It rules the food that you eat. You may have a desire to go all out on seafood, because again, Pisces is a sign that rules seafood, the ocean, as it's governed by Neptune, and Cancer is the sign of crab. So you may see yourself or feel that you're more inclined to seafood and crustaceans cravings this weekend. This is a time to make your house, or wherever you live at, your personal space, the ideal place for you. Again, the new moon isn't the time to take action. It's time to take notes, take into account the information that you're receiving. You know, Pisces is a mutable sign. It means things are going to be changeable, because it's in the decade of Cancer at 20 degrees 17 minutes. It means they're going to change fast. So things that you write down and you think you want right now may change over the coming days. They will change. Thank you, Bajorn, for the donation sponsorship. I don't know what it's called on here, but I appreciate the bread, bruh. This fourth house, again, it has to do with your diet. It has to do with your family. You may find things coming up from the subconscious that disturb you about your father, or about things that happened in your childhood in the home. This isn't a time to soak as a victim. It's a time for you to write and release these things. Remember, Pisces governs the moon card of the tarot, and this is things that are hidden in the subconscious. They're under the surface. They haven't been brought to the light of day. But as the moon grows in light, as the moon grows in light, these things from the subconscious will illuminate your path. You know, this Anubis and wet, 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 that's Anpu, that's wet, wet, wet. They're the opener of the way, the keeper of the way. As the moon grows in light, it will show you the way. It will show you the way and what to do, acting on your intuition. Acting on your intuition in regards to the information that you're getting from your fourth house Pisces. If you want to release, again, Pisces is an emotional sign, and it's in the decade of Cancer, which makes it more emotional, especially in regards to things dealing with the household and the early childhood life issues with your dad, or the lack thereof, the lack of having a father. This is a good time to write things down and let go, cast those demons out. It's a really good time for releasing emotional baggage that's weighing you down. So when you get into your process, and even music is a good way to release, poetry. If you got, Pisces on your fourth house, the best place for you to live is by water. That's where you're going to find your comfort. The fourth house is also the house of the end of all matters. Yes, the eighth house governs death, but the fourth house is at the bottom of the chart. That represents the end of all things. When you're born, you come out of a hole. When you die, you go in a hole. The fourth house represents your final place. So you can use your fourth house energy to bury things that are no longer suitable to you. And Pisces alludes to you burying those things through spiritual means, rituals, spells, meditation, music. If you really want some good music that doesn't have no negativity in it at all, I highly recommend you check out the Mystic Circle TV app and check out Metasoul Music. It is a vibe. I promise you, man. It is a vibe. Metasoul Music on the Mystic Circle TV app, and it's free. Fifth house has to do with romantic relationships that aren't long term. I call these the booty call relationship house. It has to do with your children. It has to do with creativity. It has to do with how you promote yourself to the world. The fifth house governs how you market yourself. It's also the house of investments. If you've been getting the urge to invest in certain things, now is the time for you to write those investments down, research it, and as the moon collects light, start making moves on that, especially while the moon is in Cancer, because that will be a trine. A trine is an aspect that make energies move easily and flow easily. Sign of Pisces on the fifth house asks you to use your intuition in regards to relationships and things like that. It's also a very romantic sign because Pisces is ruled by Neptune, so we see what we want to see and we can easily find ourselves sucked into illusions. So don't commit to any romantic relationships you're in right now. I don't care how good the D or the P is. If you're just starting out these relationships over the past week or two, wait till you know the moon is in Gemini, because that would be a square, and that's when squares take you so far down the path and bring you to a brick wall, and you either got to go right or you got to go left. So if you're entering any booty call relationships right now, any homie, lover, friend relationships, or whatever y'all call them right now, wait till the moon is in Gemini in a few days, and then decide if this is somebody you want to commit to building something to over the long term. Again, this is a house of children, creativity. The childlike mind is the best mind because it has a potent imagination. It hasn't been beat up on by the realities and circumstances of life. So now that the new moon is in your fifth house, if you got Pisces at 20 degrees at your fifth house, now is a great time for you to be channeling that childlike intuition and creativity, especially in regards to your relationships and how you promote yourself. The house that has Pisces on the cusp in your chart will naturally give you an aura of mysticism and magnetism, whether there's planets there or not. That house has that mystical allure for you. And when you perform in the areas governed by that house, you have an intuitive drive to execute, and it gives you the ability for others to perceive you as having a supernatural nature in that house, if you move trusting your intuition. Sixth house is the house of health. Health, it also rules, the military, public servants, how you serve your community in the world. It deals with, farms and small pets, animals that are under the size of a goat. It rules agriculture and farming. So if you're a person that has a new moon in Pisces in your sixth house, you're going to want to pay attention to your health, especially things that are concealed. Again, Pisces rules the feet. I see you, Xander. I'm gonna give you some sauce on that right now because we at that house. His Chiron is in Pisces. Chiron is a sign of the healer, and it's also the sign of the sufferer, because Chiron was a senator, and one of the gods shot him with a magical arrow in his side, and he couldn't take it out, and the wound would never heal. So he was constantly suffering. With Chiron retrograde and Pisces in the sixth house, this can give you some problems in regards to psychic disturbances and things like that. Until you can because it's retrograde, you need to reconcile with your psychic power and your potential, you know, tapping in through you know, ritual magic, because the sixth house rules ceremonial magic as well. It rules paganism and earth magic, because the sixth house is the sign of Virgo that Virgo is naturally placed on. So Virgo governs, you know, pagans and ceremonial magic and earth magic and magic that connects us to the regenerative powers of the earth, because Virgo is the sign of the harvest. So with Pisces being in the sixth in Chiron, you want to take into account, you know, how you allow that perfectionism of your Virgo rising to create self-doubt within yourself, make you question your intuition. You also want to watch out for injuries to your feet, dropping things on your feet. That's good to know. That's good to know, bro. I'm glad you're making turns for the better. The seventh house is the house of relationships, partnerships, legal matters. It also governs our most trusted advisors. Pisces in this house is telling you to use your intuition, because even though you trust people to advise you and rely on other people to give you, you know, advice and support, nothing is going to support you better than your soul. Yes, we have partnerships for a reason, but Pisces on the seventh house can allow ourselves, you can allow yourself to be deceived by your significant other, by, you know, the people who you feel are important, because you begin to rely on them more than you rely on your spiritual nature and your intuition. The new moon, as it grows in the seventh house and light begins to collect, it's a good opportunity for you to learn to trust your own intuition and be just as a effective advisor to the people in your life that you trust to advise you. What's up, Adrian? In the eighth house, what up, Montreal, Canada? Eighth house is the house of death. It's the house of taxes, debt, mortgages, loans. It's the house of your significant other's resources. And resources are your trusted advisors. So the new moon in the eighth house, it will let you know, if you pay attention, if you're spending recklessly, if you got champagne tasting beer money and you need to reel it in and put it in check. If you have the wherewithal to support and get a loan, to apply for more credit at this time, or ask for better rates on the credit cards that you have based on your good payment history, this is the time to do it. This is also a time where you will find yourself experiencing more dreams that involve, you know, loved ones who have passed on. As the eighth house is the natural placement of Scorpio, it rules the dead and it rules mediumship. Again, this is a powerful Pisces moon. Pisces at 20 degrees, 17 minutes puts it in the second decadent. So your psychic intuition in regards to the dead is going to be specifically connected to people you have strong emotional ties to. Also, people who are living who you have strong emotional ties to. If you've been feeling like you have tax money owed to you from the government, hidden money that comes from, you know, loans or debts that you overpaid. With Pisces in the eighth house, if you feel like you got some hidden money, you need to start searching online for places that find hidden money for you, whether it's a inheritance or you know, like overpaid debts and things like that. If you're a person who got a loan on your vehicle, you need to have them check the books at this time if you feel like you've overpaid. You'll find some surprise money. Thank you, Little Bird Yoga. The ninth house is the house of travel, long distance travel. It's the house of, international community, law, higher education, beyond high school. It's also the house of faith and belief. This is the house where you get your wishes granted. New moon in the ninth house is telling you to pay attention spiritually to your beliefs. Don't allow yourself to be misled and directed by what other people are telling you is right or spiritually sound for you. Let me get a swig of water. Now is the time to trust your intuition in regards to your beliefs, because it's the house that rules long distance travel, and Pisces is a sign that governs astral travel. You may find yourself in your dreams going to distant lands, even into past lives where you were a different nationality in your human body, because this is just the car that we travel in. Yeah, I go hard for black people because I hate to see people who look like me suffer unnecessarily. But I know this is just the car I'm riding in this go round. I know in my past life, I've been white, I've been Asian, I've been, Indian, a woman. The body is just a vehicle, the car that the soul drives in. When you crash this bitch, you get another one. As simple as that. And it ain't always, one on this earth plane where we're at right now. So in the ninth house, it's important that you trust your intuition when it comes to travel, and that means listening. If your spirit is telling you, you might not want to go on that trip, or if your spirit is telling you stop farting around and move around, this is something that you need to do. Especially if it's to a destination by the water. By the water, big lakes or saltwater bodies. These are places that you'll find charge you up and create opportunities for you to expand on your potential. The 10th house is the house of career. It's our place where we make our mark on the world. If the new moon is in this house, is telling you to use your intuition in regards to your job, the place that you work, whether it's a legitimate job or a different type of job. Because again, Pisces rules substance abuse, and people, who got Pisces on that 10th house tend to have careers or involvements in careers or known for, being involved in the drug trade. Also has the tendency to be actors, singers that have star quality. There's also a placement that governs people who are psychics. So if it's new moons popping off in that 10th house, you may find your psychic intuition kicking up, and you may find it to the level where you're ready to pursue that professionally, whether it's as a psychic, a tarot reader, or a healer, as Pisces is a sign that governs energy healers as well. Shamans and people that heal through spiritual means. This is also a sign that governs professional photographers. If you have an eye for photography, graphic design, which is a picture thing as well, Photoshop, these are times when you want to explore how you can use these talents to prop yourself up into a better position in the world. Don't just jump into it blind, but write it down, put things on your wish list that you want to manifest. And as the moon goes into lighter places, this is when you want to start executing on that. The 11th house is the house of networking. It's the house of social organizations, whether it's fraternities, sororities, Freemasons, Greek organizations from the colleges, Anti-Defamation League, NAACP. These are all social groups. New moon in the 11th house is going to make you want to get involved in groups that can help alleviate the suffering from others. Again, if you got a specific group in mind, don't just jump into it. Do your research, and as you research, the days following the new moon will give you the insights you need to know if that's the right type of organization for you, if that's the right organization for you, something that you can be a part of and grow from, just like you're creating growth through other people. The 11th house is also the house of the money that we get from our place in the world. So this is a time where you want to really use your intuition about asking for raises and you know, maybe putting in applications to better jobs that can give you the type of money that you want. What's up, Louis? Have a good night, little bruh. This is a good time for that. In the 12th house, the house of rest, the house where we take refuge from the world, also the house of psychic intuition and spirituality. The new moon here is going to kick up your psychic ability to a 12. Because the new moon is a sign that doesn't have light, it's easy to get caught up in the fear of knowing when you don't understand. It's important right now that you learn to trust in your spirit and not allow fear to govern you. This is a time where you want to avoid drugs and alcohol, especially things that can cause you to black out and hallucinate. As the 12th house is the natural ruler of Pisces, Pisces is naturally placed on the 12th house. That makes this new moon there even stronger. So if you want to escape through meditation, escape through music, allow yourself to be carried away, but in a way where you can maintain control. You can't do that under the influence of drugs, alcohol, hallucinogens, and things like that. That's all 12 houses. We got a lot going on. Like I said, we got full moon in Libra with the lunar eclipse later on in the month. It's either 25th or 27th. I can't recall off the top of my head because I got a lot of astrology dates. Monday I'm gonna drop the video for Mercury moving into Aries. A lot of interesting stuff is gonna go on. A lot of interesting stuff. I'm in the process of building a community off of social media on my own platform. You guys know, Instagram and all that shit was down last week. So I'm building, my own stuff, where I will be able to make sure I can get, information to you guys the same way. And give you guys some, pointers and things like that. Again, Mercury goes into Aries on Monday. I'll drop the video for that Monday. Thursday, Monday night, 7 p.m. I will be live on YouTube with Numbers and You. That's Lloyd Strayhorn, world-renowned numerologist. I'll be live Monday. We'll be talking about Mercury going retrograde in Aries. In April, we'll be talking about the solar eclipse in Aries, which is going to be April 8th. We'll be touching on the equinox, which is coming up in about 2 weeks on the 21st and 22nd of March. I'll be doing some really powerful rituals for people who want to get involved for the equinox and these eclipses. Thursday, the 14th, I will be teaching a class, 2-hour class at Mystic University, Sun Signs and Beyond. I'm taking y'all deep in astrology. I'm taking y'all deep in astrology. If you want to join the class, the link is in the description of this video. Make sure you do it. And I promise you, you're going to learn some things you never thought. If you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you're following me, because the links in my Instagram bio, you got the free book list, planetary magic kit, and a lot of other interesting stuff that can help you step your game up spiritually. It's about 13 minutes to midnight here. I'm gonna get off of here and take care of some other work I gotta do. I'm really saucing things up for this class on Thursday. I hope to see you there. You guys have a good night. Make sure you share the video, give it some thumbs up, and show it lots of love. Peace.